We are in a transitional period. This full moon in Aries gives us an opportunity to reflect and redirect where we need to. It's a supermoon and the last one of the year. So, lots of light to illuminate where we've been in the last 6 months and how we can use that to get where we need to go in the future. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so there's this sense of returning to the beginning. It's not quite a fresh start, but there's a sense of course correcting happening. And before I get into anything, I just want to ask, what are you proud of having done in the last 6 months? What risks have you taken? What changes have you made? What have you opened yourself up to? You deserve to feel proud of yourself. Really. So much has happened, and you've made leaps in ways you may have forgotten. Sit with that for a bit. Recollect where you were in March, then April, then May, and then all through the summer. And now that we've done that, we can tackle this full moon and these cards. Well, there is a lot you can and should be proud of. There's this feeling that we need to examine where we've been striving for the wrong things. There seems to be a collective sense of disappointment and betrayal and competition in the air. And a sense of exhaustion and feeling like we've been unable to keep up. For many of us, it seems like the goal right now is just to survive. Just to make it through what's been overwhelmingly difficult. Ordeals that have been physically arduous. Challenges that have made us feeling at a loss. Emotionally, mentally, tangibly. For some, that may have manifested in physical ailments or sickness. And for others, it could have been financial hardships. It could have been both in varying degrees. Whatever the specifics, it's made us feel a little defeated, at a loss. A little less hopeful. And yet we're still going. And I mean that in the sense of perseverance. That we're still pushing through with determination. And that's admirable. You do have it in you to keep going. And it is worth it to keep going. That being said, I also mean it with a gentle warning. You may not have burned out yet, but you might still be burning the candle at both ends. So the question is, do you need to? How many battles do you keep fighting every day? Right now we have an opportunity to reevaluate that strife. And as I said earlier, it's a time to look at the things we've been striving for. The shadow period for Venus retrograde doesn't end for about another week after this full moon. So your values may still feel a little bit more amorphous than you want them to be. But really, what do you want? And if that feels too broad, what are you tired of? Tired of experiencing? Tired of doing? Because the other part that's coming through is a relationship to imposter syndrome. There is healthy competition, and there is unhealthy competition with yourself and with others. Are you fighting to prove yourself? If so, why? If you're pushing yourself for the wrong reasons, you'll end up pushing yourself over the edge. Do you feel like you haven't earned what you have now? Or do you feel like you're still not where you're supposed to be? Whatever that means. And how are you defining those concepts? And are you allowing others to define it for you? Because it's easy to get caught up in that. Because we all want to feel like we're somewhere we belong. Somewhere we feel accepted. But sometimes, where we feel accepted can be a place we no longer feel like ourselves. We can lose ourselves in the noise of other people. Maybe it's because we care too much, We're there a comfort. But maybe that comfort borders on a distraction. Whatever the case, now is the time to consider how to move on from that. How to shift out of it. How to get back to what you need to do. And there's no rush. Quick pivots can be great. But if they're too fast and too brash, those actions can sometimes be too powerful. Sometimes they leave a lasting impression, which isn't always a bad thing. But we have to be wary of doing things that'll take a long time to undo. So we can't forget the value in slow movement, healthier habits and all that. Little things you can do every day. The kind of actions that are more sustainable. The kind that involves more rest. Have you been restless lately? Yeah, me too. And I wish getting through those things was a little easier. But it really is a matter of moving through it all, isn't it? Confronting it. And that involves delegating. Prioritizing what needs to be done and what we can live without. Anyway, we gotta do what'll get us on the paths that are best for us. Even if they look different from one another. Even if those paths take us further away from the people we know now. But that doesn't mean we won't intersect further down the line. And we have to trust that whatever happens, it'll be better for us than where we are now. So this full moon, we have to take steady steps, move inch by inch. And we need that kind of pace, because moving on in a way that sticks, in a way that prevents you from backpedaling, running back to the people and circumstances that you know don't work. You can't rush it. Those choices, they need to be solid and intentional. They need you leading that charge, making those choices for yourself. And you can make that happen for yourself. You can. No, it's not easy. But it is possible. It is.